What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. I know it has been a while since the college football content has been on the channel, but I am back and I'm not going to bore you with all the details. Just know I've had a lot of things going on in my personal life with friendships and with internship stuff, with schooling, things like that that I've had to try to sort out, figure out. But I promise I'm okay. I am back. We're getting into a good rhythm, a good flow, and I want to be creating content for you guys again, which is exactly why I'm posting this now. And with the calendar flipping over to spring officially, I am recording this video on March 21st, the official first day of spring, but spring practices have been underway for a while, so probably a very overdue video, but I thought I'd get you guys my spring top 25 to sort of kick off the college football content coming back. And hey, if you are a college football fan and you want to see my thoughts on what has happened over the past 2 months where I have tried to then figure things out in my life moving forward here, and we'll cover everything from transfers to coaching changes to the new expanded playoff to even the NCAA video game. Hey, I want to hear all your guys' thoughts and opinions, and I want you guys here. So hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, do anything like that to help support the channel. And I mean, oh no, and I do have one more announcement, kind of something that a lot of you guys maybe already knew, but I am, to the best of my ability, going to cover the UFL this spring. So that is the XFL USFL spring merger that is taking place here during the final week of March. I'm going to try to get videos out for that next week. So hey, please feel free to follow along with my journey in covering that league as well. But hey, without any further ado, guys, let's just go ahead and dive on in here. My spring top 25. And last year, what I did was I did an honorable mention list, kind of going away from that and more of a first five out style. That way I could go into a little bit more depth to all the teams that you see here on screen. So you have one team out of the ACC. Yes, there is an ACC team on the board. It is the SMU Mustangs. One team out of the SEC and the Kentucky Wildcats, and three Big Ten teams that I have in my first four out. And we are going to be starting out here with that ACC team in the SMU Mustangs. So Rhett Lashley still going to be the head coach there. You had Preston Stone go down with injury late, but he was a stud all year long. SMU still going to be a really fast team. They're going to have a ton of weapons. Getting into the ACC now, we'll see how they play in a power conference, but I'm really excited to watch the Mustangs in 2024. The Kentucky Wildcats are here as well. That's still going to be a solid group. Watch out for Kentucky to, again, be yet another sleeper in the SEC. Iowa's going to have a new offensive coordinator, and although that defense probably still going to be really, really good, again, you have to sort of have some pause on Iowa. You have to wait and see how much better this new offensive coordinator is going to make that offense for the USC Trojans. Of course, Caleb Williams, a ton of weapons offensively and defensively are going to be gone, whether that's through the portal to the NFL or just to sheer graduation, because now that all the COVID year stuff is sort of starting to fizzle itself out. Yes, there are players that are going to leave just due to graduation. Feels like we haven't said that in a long time, or at least it hasn't been sort of the usual thing, because, well, that guy still got an extra COVID year that he could use and things like that. But USC is going to be losing a lot of talent, most notably in Caleb Williams. Hey, Miller Moss still going to be taking over that quarterback role. Still think USC is going to be a pretty solid team. They did hire DeAnton Lynn. Yes, they did hire DeAnton Lynn as that defensive coordinator. We'll see what happens with USC defensively, as it seems like Lincoln Riley and this team are shifting their gears towards the defensive side. And then Wisconsin got Tyler Van Dyke. Again, a pretty disappointing year one, I think, compared to a lot of expectations for Luke Fickell and company in Madison. We'll see what he does year two now that he has his guy in Tyler Van Dyke. Tanner Mordecai was supposed to be that guy, didn't really pan out. We'll see how Tyler Van Dyke pans out in Madison. But again, those are my first five out. Who did make my top 25? Well, you guys are about to find that out right now. And we're going to start out with a team that a lot of people probably immediately dropped out of their top 25, and that is the Washington Huskies. So for the Washington Huskies here, I still think this is going to be a really, really solid group. Yes, you do lose. Why is the name escaping my mind? Kalen DeBoer. You do lose Kalen DeBoer. He took the head coaching job at Alabama, but Jed Fish is coming over from the Arizona Wildcats. Washington is going to be losing a lot of pieces offensively, defensively. A lot of those wide receivers are gone. Odunze, McMillan, Polk, probably won't going to have those guys. In fact, you won't. But Will Rogers has come in to be the quarterback to replace Michael Penix, the transfer from Mississippi State, originally decommitted when DeBoer left, but then recommitted there. Jed Fish is a really solid head coach, and I believe that people, again, don't discount Washington this year. Entering the Big Ten, they can be competitive with Jed Fish at the helm. I got them at 25. I mean, where do you start with Texas A&M? We're not even going to talk about the roster with the Texas A&M. We're surely going to talk about, okay, is this the year where they can finally live up to all the expectations that have been put upon them for so many years? Mike Elko and company are coming in now. Mike Elko has been at this program before as a defensive coordinator. He knows what this program is all about. Of course, Texas A&M firing Jimbo Fisher. So when you get Texas A&M here, Mike Elko's going to be ready to win in his first year. Excited to see what the Aggies have in store. I got them as a top 25 team. Again, I have them this low because of expectations in the past. They haven't necessarily reached up to that. And I do think that there is some talent level thing that they're going to have to get sorted out, but the talent is there. They could be one of the most talented rosters in the country. I do like Texas A&M for 2024. I do like Miami for 2024 as well. They sit here at 23. Hey, Tyler Van Dyke transferred over to Wisconsin. Cam Ward is in. Cam Ward kind of battling around between different schools. A lot of people thought he was going to go to Ohio State. A lot of people thought he was going to go to this and that. Ended up deciding on Miami, and Mario Cristobal has the number 6 recruiting class as well. Again, another program that is very much so not lived up to the expectations put upon them. We will see how that goes for the Miami Hurricanes. Louisville, after making a run to the ACC title game, is back here in my top 25. Still like the Cardinals here for 2024. Do have them at number 22. Again, you are going to be losing some very nice talent off that team from last year. Got a couple pieces from the transfer portal coming in to help really rebuild that team. And I think Louisville, again, is going to be another team you got to watch out for. They can make a run to the ACC title game. I got them sitting here at number 22. How about the Kansas Jayhawks? I got them sitting here at number 21. My apologies. And again, apologies for whatever my camera does. It's been really weird as of late. But Kansas, Lance Leipold is still here after the crazy movement and things with coaches. Lance Leipold stayed still at Kansas, and you've got a lot of talented weapons coming back. Jalen Daniels, that quarterback, is going to be coming back. You got your 1-2 punch at running back. Really good pieces at wide receiver, and that defense did see improvement from where it was in 2021 when Kansas sort of had that breakout make a bowl game year. Last year, that defense did see an improvement. If that defense can continue to improve again, Kansas is going to be a team that can absolutely go win the Big 12 Conference. Got them sitting right here at number 21. We'll go ahead and keep a move on into the top 20, where you have the other team out of Kansas in the Big 12. That is the Kansas State Wildcats. The Avery Johnson era is set to begin here in Manhattan. He looked very impressive in that bowl game. He was a 5-star freshman quarterback. He accounted for 3 touchdowns against NC State. Yes, you are going to have to replace some weapons offensively and defensively, but as long as that offensive line can hold up for Avery Johnson, again, this is the Kansas State team that now that Texas and Oklahoma are gone to the SEC, Kansas State is one of those handful of teams, and I do mean there are a handful, Kansas being one of them, Kansas State another one, that can go win a Big 12 title in 2023. Quick water break. And now let's talk about the team that I have at number 19, and that's the Tennessee Volunteers. I am going to butcher this name, so I apologize profusely, but Iko Ayamaleva is going to lead this offense here. You got to see him for a little bit in that bowl game. Brew McCoy should be back at wide receiver. Again, he went down with injury. Squirrel White, I do believe, is going to be back as well. You have a Tulane transfer coming over, Chris Brazel. That's going to help boost this team up as well. I still like Tennessee. If Nico lives up to expectations and he lives up to be this high-profile, high-caliber player that everyone thinks he is going to be, Tennessee can be very dangerous, especially if that defense can improve from where it was last season, where it just, again, at points was just not very good. I got Tennessee sitting right here at number 19. NC State for me is at number 18. I really do like this Wolfpack team. Dave Doeren has a team that you feel like he can break through eventually, right? This is an NC State program that really has felt like, okay, this is the year we break through. This is the year we break through. They haven't really broke through, and by breakthrough, I mean get into an ACC championship game, of course. This is the group also that could do it. Hey, Grayson McCall is that quarterback after years and years of hearing he's going to transfer. He's going to transfer to where he stayed at Coastal Carolina. Now he transfers. He goes to NC State. He gives Dave Doeren an absolutely dynamic quarterback. Jordan Waters, the Duke Blue Devils leading rusher last year, is coming in. And hey, what do you know? NC State and Tennessee, I do believe that is your season opener. Whew, what a good game that is going to be. We'll talk about the team at number 17. I have that being the Clemson Tigers. Cade Klubnik is going to be that quarterback once again, has sort of fallen below expectations, at least to what was expected of him early on in his career. If Clemson can find these playmakers, we know that defense is going to be really good. If Cade Klubnik, this offensive line, and these offensive playmakers can step up and play much bigger roles, especially Will Shipley, not necessarily playing a bigger role, but if Will Shipley can remain a constant, some of these wide receivers step up, and Cade Klubnik proves like, hey, I am ready to take that step up. Clemson could be a team that we can see back in the ACC championship game. Again, I know a lot of people say the dynasty is dying, and Clemson, again, just didn't really utilize the transfer portal. They're going to be relying on the talent that head coach Dabo Swinney has recruited. But this is going to be a very interesting Clemson team to watch. The question for years has been, is Texas back? Now it's going to shift the focus to, is Clemson back? Can Clemson get back to the level that they have played at in years past? We'll see if that's the case for the Tigers in 2024. Got them at number 17. Do not sleep on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I got them sitting here at number 16. Mike Gundy, it just seems like every time we count him out, he overachieves, at least to the public's eye. Oklahoma State went to a Big 12 championship game, and now entering his 20th season, Ollie Gordon is going to be coming back. Alan Bowman has been granted a waiver for his 7th year, and coming off of a 10-win season, again, with Texas and Oklahoma leaving, Oklahoma State is a team, one of those handful of teams that absolutely can go win a Big 12 title. Got a lot of good players on that defense there as well. Do not sleep on Mike Gundy's Cowboys. Love what Oklahoma State has done through this offseason, and I love how they look right now. They're sitting here at number 16. Let's dive on into the top 15 here, and in my opinion, really the top 15 teams, it's no mystery who should be sitting inside of your top 15. I have the Arizona Wildcats sitting here at number 15. I know they have lost their head coach in Jed Fish, but look at a couple of guys who didn't follow him. Taytairoa McMillan, that wide receiver, didn't follow him, and stud quarterback from last year, Noah Fafita, also didn't follow him. They will be joined now by Brent Brennan, who comes over from San Jose State. Love his fire, love his passion, love his energy. I do think it's going to take him time to adjust, especially now with Arizona entering the Big 12. Again, one of the handful of teams that can go win this conference, but the Wildcats really do have a chance to move forward, win in this Big 12 conference. And look, if Brent Brennan can sit there and Brent Brennan can prove himself, this is going to be a Arizona team that can explode this year. Again, you have Fafita, you have McMillan, you have a lot of good weapons offensively. Defensively, you have some really good pieces as well. Going to be losing quite a bit off that defense here, but as long as you have Fafita, as long as you have McMillan, you can find a solid enough run game. Brent Brennan has inherited a very talented roster, and Arizona can excel in their first season in the Big 12. I have them sitting inside my top 15. Love what this Wildcats team has coming into 2024. LSU. The Tigers are sitting here at number 14. They are going to have to really make up for all of their lost pieces, right? Daniels is gone. Jaden Daniels, that former Arizona State transfer who just won the Heisman Trophy, is going to go off to the NFL as our star wide receivers Malik Neighbors and Bryant Thomas. Now you still have Garrett Nussmeier here, maybe figures to be that quarterback entering 2024. And with Neighbors and Thomas gone, you're going to need some pieces to step up and play well. You're going to need some defensive pieces to really step up and play well. But you still got Harold Perkins. He's probably one of, if not the best defensive player in the entire country. This is an LSU side that I still really like. They can make a push to go win the SEC. Do like LSU here in 2024. We'll see what happens, though, with that offensive situation. How good does Garrett Nussmeier play, and who steps up in place of Neighbors and Thomas? Oklahoma, it is going to be their first season in the SEC, and Jackson Arnold is taking over the helm for this program. And if he is going to look anything like he looked against the Arizona Wildcats in that bowl game, the SEC is going to have their hands full. Jackson Arnold looks like a very good talent as Dylan Gabriel transferred over to the Oregon Ducks. Again, a very, very good player in Dylan Gabriel. I don't know if Jackson Arnold necessarily is going to be better, but he definitely could be as good. He looked very impressive in that debut. Deion Burks is a Purdue transfer coming over that, hey, I would watch out for. He's a wide receiver that I think Oklahoma is going to be able to utilize really, really well. However, Brent Venables does kind of have to retool this offensive line and get this defense more improved as well. Again, it took a big step up from where it was in 2022, 2023, and 2023, 2024. Now entering 2024, 2025. How much bigger of a step does this defense take? And again, is Jackson Arnold the quarterback that we saw play in that bowl game? That'll be the key as Oklahoma enters the SEC. 12 here is Florida State. They are my highest ranked team out of the ACC, and I do like what the Florida State Seminoles have coming in this season. Now, while you are going to be losing Jordan Travis at quarterback, and while Keon Coleman is going to be gone, a lot of those weapons are gone. DJU, an Oregon State transfer, and DJ Uiagalelei, a former Clemson quarterback as well, is coming over to the Florida State Seminoles. He is on his third team, and again, this is the Florida State team that you probably figure is going to be the front runner here in the ACC. They still got a lot of very, very talented weapons, a lot of very, very talented players. They're going to have great running backs, great wide receivers. I think this defense is going to be pretty solid there as well. You got a couple surprise returning pieces to this team, but DJU, he sort of was able to prove himself at Oregon State. If he can more prove himself here with the Florida State Seminoles, watch out. Florida State's going to be a very dangerous team, and absolutely a team that can be a player and make a run at getting into the 12-team playoff field. I have Florida State sitting here at number 12. 11, I have the Utah Utes. I do believe they are my highest ranked team out of the newly Big 12 conference. Again, Utah coming in. Look, with Texas and Oklahoma leaving, Utah in their first season in the Big 12 probably are the favorites to go win the thing. Now, again, the big question is, what of the status of Cam Rising? He sat out all of last year, pretty much, I do believe, in anticipation for coming back this year. The key for Utah is you don't have to talk about anyone else on the roster. The key for Utah is if Cam Rising is healthy and plays well, that's a Utah team that can be a top 10 team in the country with how aggressive and how physical they play year in and year out. They're going to find their defensive gems. But if Cam Rising gets hurt again and Cam Rising can't play, Utah definitely is going to be in some trouble, and they absolutely can be a team that drops out of the top 25 really early, especially if Cam Rising gets hurt again. But you enter the Big 12, really, really good shot to go win a conference title here. I got Utah sitting at number 11. We'll move on into the top 10 here where, yes, I still believe the Missouri Tigers are a top 10 team, and here is why. Luther Burden, he's coming back. Probably the best wide receiver, or I guess one of the best wide receivers in college football this year, and you could easily make the argument why he is the best. Brady Cook, hey, he is coming back. However, defensive coordinator Blake Baker was going over to LSU. He's going to try to bolster up the LSU defense. It's a Missouri defense last year that, again, also still wasn't great, had a lot of very good, solid pieces, and started to find their rhythm as the season sort of went on. It's a Missouri defense that I felt like got better and better and better. And as long as that quarterback to wide receiver duo of Brady Cook and Luther Burden remains lethal, which I think we all know it will, there's going to be a lot of other weapons here. I do believe they got some offensive line transfers. Defensively, I think they're going to improve as well. No reason why Missouri can't make a run at the 12-team playoff. They're sitting here for me at number 10. Your reigning national champion Michigan Wolverines, all the way down here at 9. Yes, now it just seems like everyone's going to be gone off this Michigan team. Every defensive star that they had this past year, they're going to be gone. You have sorry, my apologies. You have JJ McCarthy going on to the NFL. You have Blake Corum gone. Don't believe Donovan Edwards is going to be there again. And also, most notably, your coach and Jim Harbaugh is now the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. Enter Sharon Moore. I love Sharon Moore. I love his passion. I love his fire. He really knows how to get this group going. And this is still going to be a top 10 Michigan side. Making a run at a Big Ten title. Well, you got a couple really tough teams here. Of course, you see another Big Ten team ranked above Michigan there in Penn State. We'll talk about the Nittany Lions when we get there. And two Big Ten teams that, well, you guys probably have a good idea are inside of the top 5, that being Ohio State and Oregon. Where I have them, you'll find out. But quarterback is definitely going to be the issue for Michigan heading into the spring. However, with how physical and how talented this team is all around, I think this defense is going to be fine. They're going to find playmakers. They got some pretty solid transfers. They're definitely going to be a player in that Big Ten title race and in the 12-team playoff race, that's for sure. Got Michigan sitting there at number 9. Notre Dame is here at number 8, and I know the Fighting Irish seem to be ranked inside the top 10, top 15 year in and year out, but this is the year for Marcus Freeman. With the playoffs expanding to 12 teams, Notre Dame is probably definitely going to be a team that ends up making it to that 12-team playoff if they can live up to the expectations there, right? Marcus Freeman's got to replace a ton on the offensive line. You are losing all of that. But, hey, who comes in to play quarterback? Sam Hartman gone. Riley Leonard is in. Yes, the Duke transfer Riley Leonard has come over to play football for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And there's going to be a ton of turnover here for this Notre Dame program. Again, I guess a ton of turnover in a lot of key positions, right? You got some key defensive pieces leaving, especially in the linebacker room. That offensive line is going to need to be retooled. And with Riley Leonard coming in, again, another question mark where if he can stay healthy, Notre Dame's a national championship contender. I got him sitting here at number 8. The Penn State Nittany Lions are here at number 7. A lot of people were talking like 2024 is the year for Penn State. You want to pick Penn State to win a national title. A lot of people were picking them to make a surprise playoff run last year. No, 2024 is the year that the Penn State Nittany Lions were looked at to say, hey, this could be the year. Now, there are a lot of pieces leaving here for Penn State, but Drew Aller with another year of development. The one thing that we need to see from Drew Aller, he needs to start developing that deep ball, because if he doesn't develop that deep ball, this Penn State offense can turn around and be very one-dimensional. Still going to have a good school of running backs, still going to have a punishing defense as well, but if Drew Aller can take that next step and start communicating more with his wide receivers and getting that deep ball down pat, I mean, Penn State has to find a way to get past Michigan and Ohio State and now Oregon coming in here as well. Again, if Drew Aller can develop and play well, much like he showed flashes of doing last year, Penn State can be a top 5 team and can make a run of the Big Ten title. They're sitting there at number 7. And how about the Ole Miss Rebels? They are here at number 6. Woo! Ole Miss is hot right now. They seem to have just brought everyone in from the transfer portal. And guess what? Jackson Dart is coming back. Now, Quinshon Judkins, he is gone. Okay, so what? You bring in a ton of really talented weapons. Offensively, you have some amazing defensive pieces coming in through the portal and some really good pieces coming back. Again, most notably Jackson Dart at the quarterback. We'll dive in a little bit deeper to who they added, who they lost, things like that later. But for the Ole Miss Rebels, guys, this is the team. This is the team for Ole Miss that if they want to go compete for a national title, Lane Kiffin's got a squad here that can definitely wreak havoc in the SEC. Ole Miss sitting right there at number 5. We will move on to the top 5. We're at number 5. I have the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, I know a lot of people after Nick Saban retired really plummeted this team down their rankings. Not me. I am a believer in what Kalen DeBoer has. You could even swap them with Texas and put them at number 4. I'm a believer in what Kalen DeBoer has. Jalen Milroe appears to have been taking all of the first-team snaps so far this spring. Now, you don't necessarily have the staff that you expected, right? And you've survived the loss of several transfer pieces that have returned to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Again, most notably is that quarterback in Jalen Milrow. Now, do we expect Kalen DeBoer to be Nick Saban? No, absolutely not. But he is going to continue this train rolling. Alabama is still going to be one of the best teams in the entire country. And in my humble personal opinion, if you think otherwise, that is just a mistake to make. I think Alabama is still going to be a wonderful, amazing team. I have them in the top 5 here. Jalen Milrow with Kalen DeBoer. Now, it'll be interesting to see how Kalen DeBoer utilizes the dual threat ability of Jalen Milrow, something that he's never really had. But we will see what Alabama looks like in 2024. They look good in spring so far. I got them sitting here at number 5. Texas is going to be one of the most talented rosters in America. I have them sitting right here at number 4. Big 12 championship berth, a college football playoff appearance, and Texas can really start to roll here in 2024. I think they're going to play very, very well in the SEC. Quinn Ewers shocked the nation when he announced that he was going to come back. Isaiah Bond comes over from Bama to be that guy at Texas now that Xavier Worthy is going to be going over to the NFL. You got that UTSA defensive line transfer in Trey Moore. He had 14 sacks because Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy are going to be leaving. Again, this is the Texas team that has weapons. Check. They have defensive players and great defensibility. Check. They have the proven coach in Steve Sarkisian. Took him to a Big 12 title, college football playoff berth last year. Check, check, check. This is a Texas team that can go compete for a national championship. It can even go compete for an SEC championship there as well. How about Dan Lanning's Ducks? After all the Alabama rumors, I mean, Dan Lanning did the most Dan Lanning thing I think I've ever seen, and with what he posted on Twitter and with what he did in that locker room afterwards. But he is still the head coach of the Oregon Ducks, and this is one of the surefire teams to make the college football playoff in the 12-team field this upcoming season, and they're also probably the second most favorite to win the Big Ten Conference. You have Dylan Gabriel coming over. You have Dante Moore coming over. Both those guys coming over through the transfer portal, and it makes for the best 1-2 punch at the quarterback position and probably the best quarterback room in the entire country. Now, again, you can leave that up for debate with some other schools as well, Ohio State, Texas, maybe even Georgia or Bama. But when you take a look at Oregon, I mean, this team really bulked up on the defensive line last year. They're going to do the same thing again this year. They're stacking up defensively. You have a couple defensive back transfers. Jabbar Muhammad is coming over from Washington. A lot of offensive weapons are transferring over as well. You do have some nice returning pieces. And with Dylan Gabriel at the helm of this team, Dan Lanning's group is poised to break out and compete for a Big Ten title. Hey, they get Ohio State in Autzen. Ooh, that'll be a great, great game. I do have Georgia sitting here at number 2. Doesn't bother me if you have them at number 1. You want to switch them with the Ohio State Buckeyes. To me, it just comes down to, I think Ohio State's the most talented roster in America. We'll get there when we get there. But for the Georgia Bulldogs, well, you do have Carson Beck coming back to this team, and we know what brand of football Kirby Smart's Bulldogs are going to play. They're going to be physical. They're going to have one of the best defenses in the country, although it definitely took a step back from where it has been in years past, probably just due to the talent level that it's had, at least when you compare it to years past. Not saying that the Georgia defense is not talented. It's just been more talented in years past than it was last year. It's still going to be a really, really good defense. Carson Beck is going to have another year under his belt. He played really well last year. Should be able to play really well in 2024 here. And Georgia, hey, why not? They're the front runner to win the SEC again. And even though they couldn't go back to back last year after missing the college football playoff, losing to Alabama in the SEC championship game. No reason why Georgia can't go win a national championship this year. They are sitting here at number 2. But my number 1 team in the country is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ryan Day. Oh my goodness, you did not just do what you just did, Ryan Day. Will Howard is coming in through the transfer portal. You have probably the best wide receiver room in America. Travion Henderson is back. You pair him with Quinshon Judkins. Caleb Downs was earthquake-type news when he announced he was going to go to Ohio State over a school that everyone thought he was going to go to in Georgia. Ohio State's got a very talented defense, and again, this is an Ohio State team that looks like Michigan, right? And it looks like Michigan in the way of this. What happened with Michigan last year? Well, they won the national championship, obviously, but what happened before that? You saw everybody come back. You saw JJ McCarthy come back, Blake Corum come back, a lot of those key pieces on defense come back. You're seeing the same storyline play out with Ohio State here as well. And then what did Michigan do? No, 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 they didn't just stop there. They went and addressed key needs in the transfer portal, and they got some of their guys that helped them go win a national championship. Ohio State, the path is clear, the table is set. I really don't think there's that big of an argument. Sure, you could argue Texas, Oregon, Georgia, Bama. I think Ohio State's the most talented roster in the entire country. I think the second most betting favorite to win the national championship right now. Absolutely love what Ryan Day and company have done with this roster. Very excited to watch my Ohio State Buckeyes in 2024. But let me know again what you guys think. Again, this is only the spring. There's going to be a lot of movement within my top 25. So please let me know what it is you think, what your top 25 looks like in the comment section below. Hey, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. And hey, if you haven't checked out my March Madness predictions, I'd go check those out because, again, the tournament is already starting. Games are already underway. I'm going to go enjoy some March Madness, do some research on college football, make some graphics for some upcoming videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. It's great to be back, y'all. Goodbye.